today, and they've just spent nearly 3 million on its restoration. So if you're ever here in the future, in fact we've got a tour next year, I think that's visiting Dover Castle, because it's such an interesting visit. Beneath the castle in itself is interesting. It's of Norman origins and then was built as a garrison, as a defensive castle during the time of the Napoleonic Wars, fearful of dear old Napoleon crossing these waters, of course. But it's got tunnels that have been dug, and they go down some 15 metres beneath the castle, and they were dug at the height of the Napoleonic Wars because they brought more troops into the area here. They needed barracks accommodation for them, so 2,000 men slept in the tunnels. They're the only underground barracks in the whole of Britain, and you know, they've been used obviously since then. I mean, that was going back to Napoleonic times. During Second World War, I think the tunnels were converted into air raid shelters. And it's also during Second World War, this was the HQ for Admiral Sir Bertram Ramsay. This is where he directed the evacuation of the French and the British soldiers, co-named Operation Dynamo, you recall, or the Miracle of Dunkirk, from Dunkirk itself. It was said too that the tunnels were perhaps to be used as an air raid shelter for government officials in the event of a nuclear attack, but that plan was abandoned many years ago when it was realised. You can see for yourself it's all chalk, the cliffs, isn't it? And they're not going to provide enough protection from radiation, so that was shelved completely. But we are here, as we said, in Dover. It's looking good at the moment. I'm just wondering, because it's a nice sunny day now today, isn't it? The seas are calm, she says, fingers crossed. But I'm just wondering what impact the rain and the wind has had from last night. So we'll find out in a moment. But firstly, tomorrow, just to wait and see. It's got to be done, hasn't it? Dear old Vera. Well, we're here in lovely sunny...
It's amazing these places are built though and designed and how it all works. Just on ferries and sort of commerce and
So 10:30 crossing, you put your clocks, your watches, your mobiles on 1 hour. So technically French time, Belgian time is going to be 11:30. And then the crossing's about an hour and a half-ish, door to door. So it'll be around 1 o'clock-ish French time that we land. Do remember to put your mobile phones on, won't you, in case I forget to mention again, because sometimes, I don't know what phones you've got, obviously, but some of them don't alter, do they, themselves? You have to put the hour on them too. So I think for food, are we ready to eat? Possibly. Little.
gentlemen, this is Captain Sivakumar speaking on behalf of the officers and crew. I would like to welcome you aboard the Pride of Burgundy. The ship is now secured for sea, engines are running and will shortly be leaving the berth. I would like to apologize for our late departure. This is due to the prevailing weather conditions and I hope it does not inconvenience your onboard travel arrangements. The weather condition on the channel this morning is rough sea and strong westerly wind. I anticipate a comfortable crossing to Calais. Crossing time will be approximately 90 minutes. I hope you have an enjoyable crossing and thank you for choosing to travel with P&O Ferries, and finally would request that you pay particular attention to the safety announcement that is about to be made. Thank you.
Avec des flèches pointant vers un symbole représentant une faille. Au poste de rassemblement, un membre d'équipage vous remettra un gilet de sauvetage et vous montrera comment le porter. Les gilets de sauvetage de That's where they got up. Jumped in, I didn't show you up the phone. Yeah. She came out with her husband or boyfriend. You're on video, particular clothes before she jumped in.
coming back? You can have one lane coming in, one lane going out.
Possibly.
Probably do, don't they?
What's that one over there?
What time is it? Sell 10:30.
It's 12:30 now.
So that's all right just to go over there.
They look small now, don't
Is that the only part that's white? No, close one.
they? You're only allowed to get so far on the boat, you know, to look out, aren't you?
So we're going to speak the language of the country that we're in, are we agreed? Certainly to order our drinks, so whilst in France here, when in Rome, as they say, do as the Romans do. So it's un café au lait, un thé au lait. And when we cross the border, we're heading to Bruges, and the language for the weekend is Flemish, isn't it? Do you speak Flemish?
No.
It's a very guttural language, isn't it? It's very similar to the Dutch and the Flemish tend to be able to understand each other easily enough, and it's sort of with a bit of a sprinkling of German in there
I
as
think it
well.
might be, yeah.
Pride of... No, it's not.
We'll get to grips
Yeah,
with
it
it,
is
won't we,
Pride
over the
of
next few days.
Burgundy.
What's that left one there? What's that one?
Never fear, so many of the Belgians speak English, do